the Reds, it's Talking Reds from the centre of Liverpool, the best city in the world. I'm Gareth Roberts, this is Paul Senior. The Reds won at the weekend and that's all right, isn't it? They've won home, they've won away, they've won a new cup. And yet, you know, there seems to be a little bit of complaining going on, obviously. I mean, I don't think we can polish the turd regarding some of the defensive issues. They are there. And however you want to sort of paint it, they are there. So, been having a look this morning at all the various reports out there, and apparently Liverpool have conceded 26 shots in the first two Premier League games. Now, Robertson was asked a little bit about this, and he talks about saying, we knew Norwich were going to be open, and we were happy to be open as well, almost like a bit of a basketball game. But it was also, Chelsea had 20 shots in the Super Cup as well. There's the idea as well that Southampton had 3 big, you know, according to Opta, big chances. And that only happened against Chelsea twice and Barcelona all of last season. And it's now happened against Southampton, against Chelsea and against Man City in the Charity Shield. Now, is there anything really to be worried about here, Paul? Well, is it just early season and all the rest of it, or is there an issue going on?
Well, firstly, there's only one stat that counts, isn't it?
Exactly, we're winning.
It reads 3 wins. There's been it's more like Liverpool from pre-last season, I would say, in terms of the fact that they seem to be playing a higher line. They seem to be almost taking the risk of allowing teams to get in behind a little bit more. I think there's very much a reliance on VAR here. So I think Klopp's gone, we've got a famously good line in terms of an offside line, and I think he's willing to risk it a little bit more this year. And it's creating chances. It's something new for them to get used to. What I would say is that obviously there's been no Alisson for 85% of this of these 39 minutes of the minutes that we've played so far. So that will be a factor. I mean, it didn't feel like we were under the cosh at the weekend. There was a period where Southampton had to go, and obviously Adjan makes a save first half, a good save. But
Adams wasted a good chance, and obviously Ings late on.
Well, that obviously towards the end, after they scored, it got a bit nerve-wracking. Danny Ings should score, you know, a top red.
Well Danny.
Thank you, Danny. We really appreciate it. But yeah, it's not perfect, but you know, I think attacking we've looked better. There was a period at the weekend where I thought we played equally as good a football as I've seen us play probably since Coutinho was here. When we were, you'd look at was it in Russia or somewhere, we won by 7, and that was where I felt we were at our very fluid best. So it looks like there may be a return to being a slightly more attacking unit, but I'm sure we'll shore it up. The quality's there. I think probably our regular back 5 probably features 4 out of the best 5 defensive lads, and I think if you're looking at the PFA Player of the Year odds this year in terms of them being involved, they're all up there. So I'm not worried, but it might just take a couple of weeks to bed back in and get the line
as well. Like on the other side of the coin, our front 3 are brilliant, aren't they? And what a performance from Mane at the weekend. Not only in terms of his goal, there's an assist in there. He creates other chances. He's putting in tackles. He's recovering the ball. He's absolutely everywhere. And this is the fella who's meant to be knackered. Yeah. This is the fella who's played during the summer and hasn't had a break and all the rest of it. And there he is, clear man of the match. And no one's scored more than him in 2019 now in Premier League strikers. Aguero's on the same across all competitions. But there's a very strong argument now to say he is the star of Liverpool's team.
Absolutely, and there was a bit of chat around. I think it was on our post-match show that maybe people underappreciate him. I was talking to Dan Austin at the weekend. He was saying that he believes he should be the Ballon d'Or for the year because it's a calendar event thing. And he has been absolutely magnificent. I mean, I've truly believed, and I'm well documented in saying that I think he is our best player. Don't get me wrong, we've got a lot of best players.
Which is good.
In terms of the one that, if you said there was going to be a long-term injury to one, he'd be the one to pick last. I think he's so important. I think when he arrived, it sort of coincides with Liverpool getting better. So Klopp obviously does best part of the year without him. And we're a mixed bag, but the real change in Liverpool was Sadio Mane. Even the periods where he's had knocks and a couple of weeks out, or even the odd game out, I think he's the one you miss most. Everyone will have their own opinion on that. For me, it is Mane. But this year, I think he's took it up another notch. Because even like Mo Salah, goal machine, great, always a threat. But Mane now is getting involved, like taking the pressure off the midfield, coming in deep, just giving that a little bit of extra support. I think he's really matured as a footballer over the last, probably the last 12 months. I think he's gone from being great to like truly top level.
Well, that's backed up by the stats. In Liverpool's last 30 games, Mane has scored 20, Salah 12 and Firmino 8. But it's fantastic that all of them are scoring already, all off the mark. Divock as well off the mark. Not too much, I don't think, to moan about, but people always find something, and I'm sure there'll be something in the comments. So, yeah, fill your boots, we'll read them. The other thing, you mentioned Coutinho briefly there. Everyone's talking about that this morning because he's gone to Bayern Munich. He's gone to Bayern Munich on loan. Bayern Munich are paying 7.78 million just to have him on loan. Then they're covering his wages as well, which is a significant fee. And then they've got in there an option to buy 109.8 million. All of this points to a couple of things for me, Paul. One, that we had Barcelona's kicks off with what we got for him. I know you're a big fan of him. But also, though, the other thing that it points to is kind of what was the point in the whole thing. Well, because they engineered that move out. They crowbarred him out of Liverpool. Liverpool didn't want him to go. And the thing that always keeps coming back to my mind is that quote from Klopp about, you stay here, they'll build you a statue, you go somewhere else, you're just another player, and that's what he's proved to be at Barcelona.
Yeah, well, for him personally, I'm sure that'll be a disappointment. The fact that Barcelona have allowed a fixed price fee to be in there tell you what they think of him, I suppose. And I think Jurgen Klopp's been proved absolutely right. He would still have been a bigger star on the world scene at Liverpool. If he'd have stayed at Liverpool, you'd imagine people talking about him, the way he was performing when he left. I think he had 12 goals by January. As someone who could be involved in the Ballon d'Or, he'd have been in 2 Champions League finals the last 2 years. I'm talking, it might not have been the case, but Liverpool have achieved 2 Champions League finals the last 2 years, finished second in the league. What could he have become at Liverpool? And, we've seen this in the past with Fernando Torres and a few others who've left Liverpool. And sometimes for yourself, your only way is down. I think if you listen to things Torres said after he left, I think he got an extra 10-15% just by the love that he got from Liverpool fans. Yeah. It was confidence. There was, Liverpool fans back. Even you see Adrian coming on last week. What goal, like reserve goalkeeper, gets a reception like that. We've got a knack of turning very good footballers into global brands, top stars. Look at what's happened to Mo Salah since he's been here. So for Coutinho, it'll be disappointing because he wanted that move. I think he wanted to live back in Barcelona from when he was at Espanyol. I think he loved his time there, but it's proved to be a nightmare. One thing I will say is he'll go and he'll be the best player in Germany. I'm almost certain of it. I think it was Marco Grujic in the week was saying I train with him so often, and he's obviously playing for Hertha Berlin in Germany, doing well, and it's just gone. He's going to rip it up here. He'll be clearly the best player in Germany. I do agree.
I think Liverpool have done well out of it, though. I still do, because I think when they do what they do, the transfer request, the timing of it, all the stuff across Sky Sports, the leaking of stuff to the Daily Mail and all the rest of it, it all got a bit toxic. And you kind of think in those circumstances it ends up benefiting the Bayern club, but Liverpool stood firm, got that good fee for him, and it's ended up now he's been touted around like a ship pair of trainees.
Yeah, well, they've lost, 40 million quid on him in 18 months. And obviously, there's opportunity cost for Barcelona as well, because they'll have chosen him ahead of getting Griezmann, who's obviously come this summer. Plenty's gone wrong with that deal. I can't believe he hasn't fit in. I think when he left Liverpool, he was top class. I was heartbroken at the time, and me more than most by the sounds of things. I think people have had a little bit of a short memory on him, just how good he was, especially in that last 6 months. But yeah, it's not worked for him. Fuck him, it was his choice. Exactly, So yeah, it hasn't worked out. I think Bayern could prove to have a bit of a snip on their hands, because obviously they didn't manage to get Hudson-Odoi this summer. So to get him just even for 1 year for 7 million quid, great. It puts them back sort of in the top sides in Europe, you would imagine, because I think they've done some decent work. So still, there's a lot of chat around, people saying, where would he be in our best player ranking, and that shows how far we've come since he's left.
Yeah, you'd still have him, wouldn't you? And it would be 100%. Good to have him around, but it is what it is. Anyway, listen, loads of stuff on the Anfield Wrap this week. As ever, there will be a Talking Reds every weekday as usual. In terms of video, there's the second look. There will be a preview show. There'll be other stuff as well. Neil has already been down in the basement, in the cellar this morning, recording the review show as well for those who subscribe to the podcast. We're about to go and do the free show as well, which will also be released as a video. So loads of content as ever. Check out the AnfieldWrap.com as well for written stuff and stuff like that as well. And this week, if you're about before the Arsenal match, it is of course a late kick-off on Saturday, which gives us at the Anfield Wrap an opportunity to do a live show in Liverpool. So that will be at On Air in Kane's Brewery, the top end of the city, if you like. Doors will open at 12 o'clock. It starts at 12:45 and it'll be wrapped up in more than enough time for you to get to Anfield. It's £7 a ticket, over 18s. All money, as ever with these ones that we do in the city, will go to a local charity. And if you want to get involved, if you want to come down, go to ctickets.co.uk and search for the Anfield Wrap. You will find the tickets there. In the meantime, remember, Liverpool have played 40 Premier League games in a row and lost only one. We're fucking boss, and that's been Talking Reds. Up to that.